Get out of here if you want to live. That was the message my neighbor slipped under my door at exactly 2:37 a.m. At first, I thought it was some sick joke. My neighbor, Mr. Turner, was a quiet old man who barely spoke. Why would he suddenly write something like that? I remember holding the paper, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it would burst out of my chest. The street outside was dead silent, not even a dog barking. I wanted to ignore it, but something in my gut told me this wasn't a prank. And 10 minutes later, I realized he was right. If I hadn't left my apartment that night, I wouldn't be alive to tell this story. My name is Ethan Cole, and I had just moved into a small apartment building on the edge of town. It wasn't much cracked walls, flickering lights, and neighbors who mostly kept to themselves. The only person who ever greeted me was Mr. Turner, an old man in his 70s who lived right across the hall. He always seemed nervous, like he was hiding something. Sometimes late at night, I'd hear strange noises from his apartment, whispers, footsteps, and once, what sounded like crying. When I asked about it, he just smiled nervously and said, "The walls have memories here. Don't listen to them too closely." I laughed it off back then. But that night, when I found his note, everything changed. I looked out my peephole and saw nothing. No lights. No movement. Just that same eerie silence. Still, I couldn't shake off the feeling that someone or something was watching me. I opened my door slowly, half expecting Mr. Turner to be standing there. But the hallway was empty. The only thing I noticed was his apartment door slightly open. "Mr. Turner?" I whispered. No answer. I stepped closer and gently pushed the door open. The smell hit me first, something rotten like old meat. Inside, the lights were off, but I could see outlines of furniture and something else. The walls were covered in papers, old photos, news clippings, and hand-drawn maps of our building. In the middle of the room, on the table, there was a note. "They come through the walls at night. Don't stay." My hands started shaking. I grabbed my phone to call 911, but my signal was gone. No service. And then I heard it. A scraping sound coming from inside my apartment wall. That's when I ran. I sprinted down the stairs, but the front door was jammed. Behind me, I heard footsteps, slow, dragging, unnatural. I turned and saw shadows moving across the hallway, twisting like smoke. And for a split second, I saw faces, pale, hollow-eyed faces pressing through the walls like they were made of water. I didn't stop to think. I smashed a window and jumped out, landing hard on the grass below. When I looked back up, I saw something that still haunts me. Mr. Turner standing at his window, staring at me. Behind him, the same dark figures were wrapping around his body, pulling him backward. He didn't scream. He just looked at me and mouthed the words, "Go!" Then the light in his apartment went out. When the police arrived later, they found nothing unusual. No Mr. Turner, no strange markings, nothing. They said he had moved out years ago. But I know what I saw. I moved out the next morning and never went back. But a few weeks later, I received a package in the mail, no return address. Inside was an old photograph of my building, taken in the 1960s. And right there in the photo was Mr. Turner standing in front of the same apartment, smiling. The caption on the back said, "Tenants lost in fire, 1963. My hands went cold. The building had burned down decades before I even moved in. But that's not what scared me the most. At the bottom of the photo, there was handwriting, the same shaky letters from that night. "Get out of here if you want to live." I never understood how that note ended up under my door. But I do know one thing. I wasn't supposed to survive that night. And that was tonight's story. What would you have done if you found a note like that under your door? Would you have stayed or would you have run? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another chilling story from the Auntie Mae Show.